Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker. Look here, y'all. Love will make you do strange things. Things that you would never imagine doing. Now listen, before you say, I'll never do this or I'll never do that, I don't know why people do this and that, ask yourself, have you ever done something crazy for the one that you love? Have you ever done something so weird because the one you love asked you to or wanted you to, or you thought that it would make the relationship better, or whatever the case may be, right? I think that most people, if they're honest, have done some things that they would not be proud of in the name of love. I'm sure of it. This story is about this woman named Rachel, right? Rachel was a early 20s female that graduated college. She had her sights set on, working, earning and saving enough money to go to college one day, becoming someone that could get into the professional field of nursing and finding someone that she loves, marry them, and go on with her life, have kids, and do all of the things that a family would do. But there's this other guy in this story. His name is Scotty. Now, Scotty was the same age as Rachel. Scotty worked at the local IHOP. And when he worked at the IHOP, he would work day and night trying to save money because he too wanted to go to college. He didn't have the opportunity to earn a scholarship when he was in high school. His grades were okay, but he didn't focus like he should have. And after he graduated, he realized that he should have been more attentive in school. So he ended up getting a job, and he was taking classes at the local community college at night just to get himself ready for college, just to brush up on a few things. His guidance counselor had recommended that to him. Now, while he was working at the local IHOP, every day he would meet all kinds of people. All different types of people would come into the IHOP at all hours of the day and night. And it was this one person in particular that used to come in there. His name was DJ. And DJ was the local drug dealer. He was a gang member too. And whenever he would come into the IHOP in the early morning hours, after everybody else is getting up to go to work, this is when DJ would come in, and he would always have a couple of people with him. They'd hanging around with him, and they all were dressed, for the part. They looked like they were, hanging in the streets and all of that, but they were always laughing and happy and having fun, pockets fat, full of money. And every morning, they would order the same thing. Those strawberry pancakes, hash browns, eggs, plenty of bacon, and orange juice. That's what they wanted. The same thing every day. So Scotty, after a month or so, whenever he saw them pull up, he would hear the music that they would be playing in the car. When they pulled up, he would already go ahead and start preparing what it was that they wanted. He knew what they were going to order. So when they would come in and come to the counter, he's like, I already got y'all. Y'all can go ahead and sit down. I'll bring it to you. And DJ, he was like, man, appreciate that, man. I appreciate you looking out for us like that. Now, when he would take the stuff over to the table to them, DJ would always tell him, he said, man, sit down and talk to us for a while. But Scotty would tell him, man, I can't do that, man. My supervisor, he don't want us really sitting down. I got to get to work, and all this and that. Right? He said, man, just whenever you get the opportunity, man, I want to talk to you. And Scotty said, man, whenever the time permits, I'll do that, man. But it never was a good time to do it because Scotty had to work and they were just chilling. So one day, after DJ and his guys had finished eating, they left a big tip for Scotty because they appreciated how he looked out to them and always had their food ready before they even came in the door. He was already fixing it for them. So they appreciated everything that he did. So one day, when Scotty was walking around and making sure that everybody in the IHOP was okay and seeing if they needed anything, DJ said, man, sit down, man. I want to rap with you. And if your boss man said something about it, I'll take care of it. Scotty was tired, really wasn't thinking straight. So he went ahead and sat down for just a couple of minutes and was talking to DJ. And DJ told him, he said, look, man, if you ever want to get away from this, come holler at me. He said, you don't have to be slaving in this place like this to make your little money. He said, what are you doing? He said, man, I go to college, man, at night. He said, so you working all day and you going to college at night? He said, that's good, man. He said, you the type of dude I like to kick it around, right? So Scotty not really understanding what he was saying. He said, what school do you go to? And DJ and his other guys, they started laughing. He said, no, we don't go to school, man. You know what I'm saying? In no building. We go to school in the streets. That's where we get ours at. And DJ reached into his pocket and pulled out a chunk of money. I'm talking about all $100 bills, man. It'll choke a horse. Scotty looked at it and said, oh, okay, I get it. DJ put the money back in his pocket. So from that point on, every time that Scotty went to the table, you know, and took care of them on whatever day they came in, DJ would leave him a big tip. So one day after about a month or so, maybe two, Scotty got into an argument with his supervisor. His supervisor was telling him that he needed him to work a couple of extra hours for the next couple of months because they had one person that had quit. And Scotty was telling me, he said, look, I have to go to school at night. I've already worked this out with you. We had an understanding. I worked such and such hours. Then I could get off and I could go to the night school. And his supervisor said, I know I agreed to that, but things have changed. We need to just get a couple of more hours out of you every day. He said, I'm going to pay you double overtime. Scotty told him it wasn't about the money. He said, I need to go to school. I have plans. I don't want to do this for the rest of my life like you. So the supervisor took offense to that, and he told Scotty, he said, you don't appreciate the opportunity that you have. So Scotty, he's getting hot. The supervisor's getting hot. So the supervisor tells me, okay, go back and go on and do what you do. So the supervisor started plotting from that point on, right? He wanted to get rid of Scotty, but he couldn't do it right then and there because he was already down short one person. So Scotty felt like, you know, he's got to find him something else to do because he didn't want to continue to go back and forth with the supervisor about wanting to go to school. So DJ and his guys had come into the IHOP to eat. Scotty took the food over there and served him and sat down and talked to him for a while. And he said, you remember what you talked to me about a little while ago? And DJ understood and knew what he was talking about. He said, yeah. He said, wow, what's up? He said, man, I'm thinking about, man, making a change, man. I don't want to keep doing this, right? But I still want to go to school at night. He said, well, I got a spot for you. You know what I'm saying? You can sit in this one spot, work during the day, and then you can go to school at night. And then when I get up and me and my guys, we can take the spot at night because that's what we usually do. We work the spot at night, and then we go in during the day. He said, we can just switch out, and you can get all the money you can make. You know, I'll supply you with this. You can buy it from me or I'll front it, however you want to do it. So DJ continued to explain to him the logistics of how it would work, right? And Scotty, understanding the numbers, he said, I'd rather just buy it from you and then I'll sell it and make my own money as opposed to you fronting it to me and then we breaking it off like that, right? Splitting it up. DJ respected the game and told him, okay, that's what we'll do. So Scotty went in the back and he told his supervisor that he was done. He didn't want to work for him anymore and just walked out. His supervisor was angry, telling him to get out and don't come back when he changes his mind. And Scotty left. He left the building. After a week or so, he got his last check, and he looked at his check, and he decided he was going to take everything in that check, and he was going to invest it in whatever product that DJ could supply him with. You know, he was selling the cocaine. So he went and got a couple of ounces from DJ. DJ showed him how to bag it up, cook it up, all of the things that you need to know when you get in the game. Told him how to talk to people, how to treat people, be aware of this, keep your eyes open, watching out for different people. And if he felt suspicious about anybody, let him know. And he said it was going to be a couple of people always walking up and down the street, you know what I'm saying, letting them know when 5-0 was around. And if he heard a call, you know what I'm saying, he's supposed to get up and run or get away, you know what I'm saying? Or throw the stuff to the side or something like that, whatever. He schooled him real good on how to avoid getting caught in the spot that they were working, because this is one of those spots. Y'all know what I'm talking about when you got one of the $1 million spots, money and traffic coming through all day and night. That was one of those spots. So DJ sets him up. Now Scott is in the spot, and the money is coming so fast, it's almost unbelievable to him. He had never done anything like this before. He had heard about it and seen it on TV, but now he was actually in it, and the money was rolling. And he's putting it up as quick as he puts it in his pocket. Somebody else is waiting for a sale, and he's not the only one up on this spot. So it's all about, everybody's getting it, and the competition is there, but it's really not competition because there's more customers than it is the people that's supplying what it is that everybody wants. So it was no beefing, no fighting, no none of that. It was everybody, and every now and then, sometimes you'll have somebody that done sold out, and they'll say, "Hey, Scotty, you got anything left? I got a bite over here for you." And they would do that back and forth because everybody was eating. Money was good. Money was real good. So after about 2 or 3 months, Scotty had made more money sitting at this spot than he had made the whole time working at IHOP. And he had locked it in his head that he didn't never want to go back to a job like that. Not when he was making this kind of money, as fast as he was making it. So he would go home and he would sleep, a couple of hours, and then he would go to school at night, and then he would get back up, and then he would come back to the spot. And this carried on for a while. And everything was working out just fine. And he had saved up a lot of money, put a lot of money up. And now, when DJ went to the IHOP, every now and then, before Scotty went to work his spot, he would go to the IHOP and sit down and eat with DJ and the other guys. And his manager, that used to be manager, he would come out and he would serve him. And Scotty would look at him, and he would look at Scotty, and he would ask him how he's doing, but it was nothing genuine about it. And Scotty would tell him, "I'm all right, I'm good." And then go to eat, and then he would leave and go to the spot. But while he was there, several of different occasions, it was this female. And her name was Rachel. And he liked Rachel. Rachel was a pretty girl. And he would talk to her and things like that, and then he would go his way. And Rachel, she was interested in him as well, She liked him too. But the only time that she would really see him is when he would come to the IHOP. So one day, when he was in there, he asked her, what was she doing later on that day? And she told him, she gets off at around 3 o'clock, and then, she was going to go home and study because she was going to school and all of these different types of things. So she wanted to stay on top of her studies and make sure that she was passing and all of that because she wanted to be a nurse one day. So Scotty was looking at her. He was like, "Yeah, that's what's up. I go to school at night and I'm studying, I'm trying to do this and that." And she was like, "Oh, that's great." And Scotty wasn't a bad-looking dude. He wasn't a bad-looking dude at all. And she was interested in him, and he was interested in her. And so they decided to take a chance and go out on a date. So instead of Scotty going to the spot this particular day, he waited for Rachel to get off, and he picked her up. And when he picked her up, he asked her, said, "Where do you want to go? Anywhere you want to go, we'll go." So she liked to go to the Red Lobster. So he said, "Okay, we'll go to Red Lobster." So he took her to Red Lobster, and they was out eating at the Red Lobster, and they were talking about all of the things, the hopes and dreams that they had, and all of these different types of things. And they were happy. They were happy. But things don't last in the dope game. They just don't last. They don't last at all. So Rachel, one day while she was at work, she saw the police pull up outside of the IHOP. And they had stopped 2 cars. Now, she didn't see who was in the first car, but she could see the second car. It was Scotty. And their cars were stopped and pulled off. And DJ had just given Scotty a couple of zips. Y'all know what that is, of work. So when Scotty got in the car, the police come out and they boxed him in. Told them all to get out of the car. Now Rachel, she's looking from the window of the IHOP, and she sees Scotty leaning up against the car. They put handcuffs on him, and they search the car, and they find the product. And they put him in the back of the police car. And he's looking from the back of the police car. He sees Rachel looking at him, and he just puts his head down. He's embarrassed. And they take him on to jail. DJ, they let go. They let him go. They didn't find anything because what he had handed off to Scotty. Now Scotty's going to jail. When he gets down to the jail, the detectives, they're talking to him and they ask him a lot of questions and they tell him that we know you're not the main guy. You're not the main guy at all. And they really didn't even know who he was. He was so new to the game. And they asked him, said, did you get what you had on you from DJ? They knew DJ. And he told them no. He had been schooled by DJ not to say anything about anything. So he told them no, I didn't. And they told him, well, they were going to be charging him with possession. And that he would be able to make bond if he could. And if not, he'd have to wait until he could go to court, see the judge to see if they could lower the bond or whatever the case may be and all this and that. And he said, no, I'll make bond. DJ had already schooled him and told him if anything would ever happen, he gave him a number to a bondsman to call and they'd be down there to get him ASAP. So they booked Scotty in. First time this had ever happened to him. Took his picture, took him upstairs, he made the phone call, and within the hour, the bondsman was there. They brought him right back downstairs. They walked him out of the jail. Now, the bondsman told him, he said, look, DJ's waiting to see you. Just go by the house and holler at him. And Scotty knew where DJ lived, you know. So he rolled by there and he talked to him and he told him everything was fine. And they asked him that, what did the police ask him? And he told them, and he assured him that he didn't say anything. Now, this was the first time that he saw DJ looking kind of different. Because DJ was concerned that if this individual, you know what I'm saying, that he was working with now, would talk, because he wasn't a part of his crew. He wasn't a gang member. So the trust that he would have with his brothers was not there for Scotty, but he felt like Scotty was a stand-up guy. So he believed Scotty. He had no choice at that point but to believe him. So over the next couple of months, Scotty's going back and forth to court, and DJ helped him find his lawyer because this particular lawyer was one of DJ's lawyers, and he would always keep DJ advised as to what was going on with Scotty and all his cases, even though it's not what he was supposed to be doing. But that's how it goes a lot sometimes, if y'all didn't know. So the lawyer letting DJ know that Scotty's plan is solid. He's not saying one word about anything that's going on. He's taking the whole situation on his own. And the lawyer tells Scotty by it being his first time, he'd probably be able to get him some probation and he'd be just fine. So after 6 or 8 months of going back and forth to court and spending money with this lawyer, Scotty tells him, look, go ahead and make me a deal and get some probation because he's bleeding money. Them lawyers, they like to get you for that money when you got them cases because they play on your hope of staying free, especially when you on bond. You know what I'm saying? So the lawyer goes to talk to the DA. And the DA tells him, we want DJ. We want the person that supplied him. We know that's not his. He doesn't have any connections like that. And the lawyer assured him that his client didn't have anything to say and he just wanted to get whatever he was going to get and go on. But the lawyer let him know. He said, look, this is his first time. Can he get some probation? So the DA was waffling back and forth and he said, let me think about it. He said, now I can guarantee probation if he turns on DJ. And the lawyer said, I'll take it back to him, but I doubt that my client is going to do that. He knew that Scotty wasn't going to roll over him, and he was going to encourage Scotty not to do that, even though he's just supposed to lay out what the terms of the deal are and then let him make the decision. But when he went back to Scotty, he told Scotty what the deal was, and Scotty refused it. He said, give me some probation. Give me some probation, and I'll pay you some extra money. So the lawyer milking that, you know what I'm saying, went back to the DA and told him no deal on the testifying, but could he get some probation? So the DA, knowing that this was his first time out, and the judge, you know what I'm saying, they had nothing bad about this guy, the judge would more than likely agree to some probation. So they agreed to give Scotty 8 years of probation. So they made the deal, and they went to court. But part of the deal was that he'd have to go through some classes, and that he would have to stay away from any convicted felons and drug dealers and gang members, all of that. And he agreed. And when he agreed to do that, he had to also get a job. So at the particular IHOP that he used to work at, the manager that he used to work for was gone. He had gotten fired for stealing money. So Rachel, she was still there, so she put in a word with the new manager, a female friend of hers. And the manager agreed to hire Scotty back. So Scotty gets his job back at the IHOP. And him and Rachel decide after a couple of months to move in together. And everything is going fine until DJ pops back up on the scene. And when DJ pops back up on the scene, he influences Scotty to jump back in the game. Against all the things that he's supposed to be doing, he decides that he wants to take a chance because he was used to that money and he wanted it. And if you want to know what happens with Scotty, you're going to have to tune in to the next episode. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.